Listening colour. Hi, I'm Rachel Walker-Mason and welcome to Listening Colour with Rachel. Today we're going to be looking at a brand new song that I have not seen yet. I've got it queued up on the screen here, but I don't know what it is. It's exciting, sent to me by one of my lovely listeners. Thank you ever so much for your lovely responses on my last video, the Aurora Seed Anna Lapwood video. I had so many lovely comments, and you can be assured that I will be doing more Aurora because I'm fascinated with her now, because apparently she also has synesthesia just like me. So she sees music as colours and tastes them, so that's all pretty cool. So there'll definitely be some more of that, don't you worry. But today we're going to be looking at something else, and I don't think this is Aurora, so I hope that's all right with you guys. But yeah, let's have a look. Ooh. Lovely piano. Oh, and it's Thom Yorke from Radiohead, which is awesome. Love Radiohead. He's looping piano parts over the top of each other to make that kind of smushy, washy noise. Oh, classic Radiohead chords. Beautiful.
Open your mouth wide.
Beautiful. Just going to pause it there a second. So this is Bloom, that Radiohead do as a full band track on one of their albums. But this is obviously just Thom Yorke in, apparently, Electric Lady Studios, which I think is New York. Just him and a piano and looping things to make that very like washy sound. It almost has a quality of like church bells ringing in the distance. So they kind of chime, and then the echo effects make them get very washy together. So it's got that slightly odd quality that makes you feel a little bit unsettled, because it's not settling in a key, it's just sort of there making that noise. And then those classic kind of Radiohead sounding chords that always sound a little bit bleak and sad and unsettled, and then Thom Yorke's gorgeous vulnerable voice over the top. It's a perfect combination. It's lovely. Okay, so we're into the first verse, and we've got that bum bum ba bum bum dum da dum phrase that keeps coming, which, to my memory from the original song, I think happens quite a bit in it, but I don't know. He might do something different with it here, because it's just him without the full band. Okay, let's go on, see what happens.
A universal sign. While the ocean blue.
That's the title, Bloom. There it is, Bloom.
It's what keeps me alive.
Oh, so gorgeous. I could listen to him sing the phone book. Honestly, it's just one of my favourite voices, because it's so vulnerable and feels quite untrained in a lot of ways. So there's things that he does with his voice which are so natural that a singing teacher might say, oh, well let's kind of cover that break a bit more, so it doesn't sound as obvious that you're jumping from one part of your voice to another. But it's the vulnerability of that and the the kind of fragility of his voice that is so beautiful and just makes it even more kind of magical when he sings. So husband, my awesome husband, has just given me his phone with the lyrics. My wonderful husband, he also loves Radiohead. I also love Radiohead. And actually on our first date, one of the things we talked about was who our favourite band was. You know, I'm a musician, it's important to me. If he liked terrible bands, terrible musicians, I don't think I could have married him. And we talked about our favourite music, and he said his favourite band was Radiohead. I said my favourite band was Radiohead. He said it first as well, not me, so he wasn't just copying me. And we discovered our favourite album was a Radiohead album, and our favourite song was a Radiohead song. So we had Radiohead, not the band playing at our wedding, but we had a song by Radiohead played by some of our friends at our wedding, because that is our favourite band. So we're fairly unconventional in terms of love songs. But yes, he's just given me his phone with the lyrics for Bloom. So verse 1 is, open your mouth wide, a universal sigh, and while the ocean blooms, it's what keeps me alive. Oh. So why does this still hurt? Don't blow your mind with whys. Oh, it's gorgeous. I love the poetry of Radiohead, and I love that it can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Like, what do you think this means? What does it mean to you? It feels quite vulnerable and open to me. So is it about feeling vulnerable? Is it about sadness or depression? Is it about kind of struggling with difficulties in life or feeling alone? Just the very nature of like being human, the humanness of being human is that we do struggle with our emotions sometimes, and we're aware that we're alive, but the being alive hurts sometimes. Like, you're aware that your heart is broken, and you're aware that you're lonely or you're sad. Maybe that's what it's about. But it's gorgeous. Right, let's go on to the next bit.
So why does this still hurt? Don't blow your mind with wine.
Beautiful. Oh, I don't want to pause it there because it's so beautiful. This is the, what's just in brackets here, instrumental break. And Thom Yorke singing of the instrumental break, which is gorgeous. So it's the same kind of chord pattern, like nothing's really changed in the background. It's all kind of sitting there. And he's just doing this beautiful vocalising over the top. And he did a gorgeous thing there. I don't know if you heard it, but he, as he was going, and then he flipped, so he was on thin folds, and he went up to the top note, so he went from and there was a little kind of clunk in his voice, kind of like a donkey kind of sound, and that's what happens when you go from your vocal folds are in one position, and then you change position while you're singing, and you get a little clunk. And most singing teachers would be like, that's terrible, you should never let that be heard. But it's what makes Thom Yorke such a unique singer is that he leaves all those things in his voice. No one edits them out. They're just there, and it's the way he sings. And that adds to the vulnerability and the fragility of it, and just how human. And it doesn't matter if he's a little bit out of tune on the note occasionally. It just adds to the kind of quality of it. And I'd be really sad if they kind of overcorrected it and auto-tuned the life out of Thom Yorke's voice. It wouldn't be him, it wouldn't sound right. And because he's the lead singer of an alternative rock band, is usually how Radiohead are described. And quite often alt rock bands have quite loud lead singers, like a big sound, and occasionally he does sing like that, but you know, in Just and things like that, but usually he sings in a much more fragile way. And it sits beautifully at the top of the mix, and it just works for their band. It just works, and I love that. I love that about Radiohead, and I love that in this video there's very little going on. It's just a bit of looping, a bit of piano, and just his gorgeous voice sitting at the top. And so colour-wise for this, what I'm seeing is this kind of crimson swirling kind of stuff, the piano noise, and then the piano looping at the top is kind of like a sort of more golden colour, because it's got a slightly metally quality to me. It's sort of sitting at the top doing that very like smushy, like church bells kind of sound. And then Thom Yorke's voice is this beautiful silvery note over the top. It's lovely. It's just so, it's almost like white. It's such a clean, pure, almost like angel sound. Like when children sing, and it's just so beautiful and clean and pure, and they're not doing vibrato and too much. It's just this beautiful, clean sound. And so when there's imperfections, it kind of makes it even better, because it's his and it's not been tidied up. I think that adds to the kind of vulnerability aspect of the song hugely. Okay, what happens next? So verse 2 is coming. There's no chorus in this song, interestingly. Pretty much when we're songwriting, as a professional songwriter, I'm always teaching, and then you quite often it's like 30 seconds of song, and then if you haven't got to the chorus by 30 seconds, you're in trouble, because people have lost interest, their attention will have been gone. But this has no chorus, and it doesn't have a title that you would necessarily know is the title. So the word bloom is just hidden in one of those lines, and while the ocean blooms, and it's blooms as well, not bloom. So if someone asked you what the title was of the song, and you've never heard it before and never seen the lyrics, you would be hard put to say what the title was. I would think, I certainly would anyway. But that's one of the things that Radiohead do. They just do what they want. Rules are there to be broken, and they do that all the time, and I love it. Okay, let's go on and see what he does. Lovely, there's a beautiful reverb on his voice as well in the room that just feels even more ethereal. It's gorgeous. That's that high kind of bell-like phrase again at the top. Gorgeous.
I'm moving out of orbit.
It's a lovely descending phrase again.
Turning inside my soul. The giant turtles
Pause up there, because I've just seen at the corner of my eye the lyrics for verse 2. So I'm moving out of orbit, turning somersaults, a giant turtle's eye, jellyfish float by. And that's the end of the song. Wow, what do you think of those lyrics? That's quite interesting. I'm moving out of orbit, kind of feels more connected to the first verse. The second verse is the second part of the second verse is quite unusual. It sort of goes somewhere else with the imagery, and suddenly you're underwater. And is it that he feels lost? Is it that he's sort of tumbling and feels disconnected from things? That he's it's almost that feeling like if you've had anxiety before, or depression, where you can feel very out of control, and that you almost don't know which way is up. You just feel just like you can't get grounded, like you feel a bit lost and a bit like you're just being thrown around by waves. I know I've certainly felt that before, so I don't know if any of you identify with that, or if that's what Thom Yorke's thinking and feeling here, but that could be it. They are amazing. It's been my long-held dream to go and see Radiohead live. My husband's seen them three times live, I think. Once on Jules Holland live. I'm so jealous. And it's not that he didn't take me. He didn't know me then. We weren't together then. We didn't know each other. But it's on my bucket list to go and see Radiohead with Tom, my husband. But they don't tour very often, so I'm really hoping that we get to do that, because that's something I've always wanted to do, and have that experience of seeing them live and feeling the way they perform live, because they don't do things the same as on the album. They'll do, different stuff. They'll perform the same songs but differently, and that's really special. The closest we got was seeing, it was at the beginning of this year, I think. We went to see a band who do cover versions of basically Radiohead's entire back catalogue, and they have a string quartet with them as well, and it was just gorgeous. They did this amazing gig. They toured it around basically all the cathedrals in the country, and we got a lot of cathedrals in England, and they are huge and gorgeous acoustics, really echoey, and so we went to see them in Bristol Cathedral, and it was stunning. It was just like watching and listening to Radiohead play as they were at the time they recorded those albums, which isn't what you get from Radiohead live now. But it was beautiful. It was like moments captured in time, and it worked really well. But I'd love to see Radiohead actually live and experience that too. So if you know that they're touring or anything like that, let me know. Right, let's listen to the rest.
The jellyfish float by.
That's the jellyfish line. So those chords kind of inverted. That feels like the end of the song, musically. Something else is happening. Ooh. It's quite loud in my headphones. Ooh, and then it stops. Wow, that was incredible. So at the very end, Thom Yorke turned up the loop that was playing in the background. That was that kind of thing that I said sounded a bit like church bells, but in a kind of washy kind of way. That was like a top part he played on the piano over and over again and looped it. And then he turned it up, and it had quite a bit of distortion on it as well. So it kind of almost sounded like when cars rush past you and you get that noise, the Doppler effect, the sound kind of goes like that. It sounded like that, like it was building up and up and up, and it was going to rush past you. Which is slightly disconcerting. So I guess that's how he meant it to be. So Radiohead often write things that are not meant to be polite and nice, where you listen to the song and go, that's nice, carry on with my day. They often write in a way that's quite challenging and can be a bit bleak, and speak about the human condition and the struggles we have as humans. And that's definitely what's happening here, I would say, because it's quite challenging and not always pretty. Particularly that end bit was quite, particularly through headphones, that was getting quite loud and unpleasant, because it was, if you've heard their song Burn the Witch, which is one of my favourites, there's a bit at the very end where all the string parts start to come closer together, and they start to get gradually more and more dissonant until it's almost like, a horror film kind of sound. It sounds a bit like that at the end, and you kind of go, oh, and you're sitting there in the car going, oh, that was a bit stressful. And this kind of has that same quality that makes you feel slightly odd at the end. And I want to go off and contemplate my life choices and think, am I happy? Am I not? I don't know. I probably am happy. I'm okay. But I've definitely been in places in my life at various times where I felt very unhappy and very lost. And I think this seems to be what that song is about, is like a snapshot of being in that time, of having crippling anxiety or being depressed or just feeling really lost. Like we all feel like that sometimes in life, and maybe that's what this song's about. Maybe that's what Thom Yorke's singing about, because I know a lot of his other lyrics say things like that and kind of deal with those slightly uncomfortable things. That I love that Radiohead use music as a device to get people talking or thinking about their feelings, rather than just thinking, oh, that's a nice song, the end. And that really did something to me. Let me know what you thought of it, whether it felt uplifting to you or made you consider things, what you thought it was about, what you think of Thom Yorke's voice. Yeah, let me know, because it's all really interesting to me. As you guys have been so amazing with the last video I posted, and gave me so much information, more than I ever thought I'd learn about Aurora. My goodness, like, it was amazing. So if you have other videos you'd like me to check out, if it's something you've written or a friend, or it's your favourite song or something a bit weird, it's absolutely fine. I like every single genre of music, so you can send away. That's absolutely fine. And I'd love it if you subscribed, liked, shared, commented. If you know anybody else who you think would like my videos of me talking about seeing colours and talking about vocal techniques and song forms and things like that, then please send them the link to my videos, because I'd love to have you all on board for the Listening Colour journey. So thanks everyone, and have a colourful day. Listening Colour.